The last we did was the 23rd verse. Upadrashthānumantā ca bharta bhokta maheshwarah paramatmeti chāpyuktah dehesmin purushaparah. So the various roles the Atman seems to be playing based on the degree of selfishness, the degree of being egoistic, the degree of self-centeredness. The more selfish you are, the more self-centered you are, the Atman plays a role as Upadrashta, as a mere witness. Witness when a person is perpetrating a crime, when a person is engaging in an extreme selfish activity, as it were, the Atman does not participate. The Atman has nothing to do with your selfish actions. But the moment you withdraw from your selfishness, the moment you withdraw from your egoistic approach to life, the Atman starts permitting your actions. So the moment you reduce your ego, the moment you have turned towards the righteous path, Atman starts permitting. The more you withdraw, the less egoistic, the less selfish you become. Atman plays the role of a supporter, bharta. Means you get support from various quarters. Whatever you are engaged in, you get support from. In fact, you get support from people you least expect. All through the spiritual journey, you will find people whom you least expect come and help you. Amazing how it happens. The moment you need help, somebody, as it were by appointment, comes and helps you. Providence shapes your ends, as William Shakespeare says. There is a divinity that shapes your ends. So a person who lives a life of service and sacrifice, he'll invariably experience this, how totality, how divinity, how providence supports your every endeavor. And then you start enjoying every aspect of your action, every aspect of your life. You become the enjoyer, bhokta. And then slowly you become Maheshwara. Maheshwara here means you become the Lord. Lord means you have a certain amount of power. The 23rd verse that we did last, he said you become the Lord. Lord, you have a lordship over things, means you can use your power. Means whatever you want is done. That kind of a power you gain, and then you become the Paramatma, you become the Supreme Self. So the role of Atman is directly related to the purification of yourself. To the extent you are pure, to that extent the Atman seems to play various roles in your life. So if you are an impure person, Atman seems to play a detached witness. The more purer your actions are, the Atman seems to support, permit, enjoy, lordship, and ultimately you become the Supreme Self. Now, relatively, we said This can also be extended to the conscience, because conscience and Atman is almost, you can say, like mirror image. Conscience only job is to point to Atman. So the conscience also the plays same roles as it were to the role Atman seems to play. Because as we know, Atman has no interest in anything. The Purusha has no role to play in the mode of operation of action. Didn't we learn that? The Purusha and Prakriti. Prakriti is with gunas. Prakriti is nature. Purusha has got nothing to do with Prakriti. Each of us have a different Prakriti. Each of us have a different nature. Purusha has got nothing to do with the nature that you have. Purusha has got nothing to do with the gunas that you have. So if your actions are of a tamasic nature, it's a mere witness. But if your actions, Prakriti is of a sattvic nature, Atman seems to play various roles. The conscience also seems to play similar roles. Witness, permitter, supporter, enjoyer, the Lord, and the Supreme Self. It's a fabulous concept. It's a beautiful concept. So the onus is on you. But the concept is Atman has no interest in Prakriti, which is very well clarified in the next mantra. So we did this mantra, this verse, I just took a quick reference to it. Now we'll get on with the last verse actually of this topic. If you remember the fourth topic that we have been studying covers from verses 20 to 24, where he talks about Prakriti, which is matter, and Purusha, that is spirit. So the last verse of this topic is the 24th verse. And let's see what he says there. स एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न स भूयोऽभिजायते स एवं वेत्ति पुरुषं प्रकृतिं च गुणैः सह सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि न स भूयोऽभिजायते. He who knows Purusha, the spirit, and Prakriti, matter, together with the gunas, though living in whatever way, he is not born again. Na bhuya abhijayate. Abhijayate means born. He is not born again. Whatever be his way of life, whatever be his mode of conduct, doesn't matter. That person is not born again. Now there's a clause. The clause is he who, means anyone amongst us, whoever has this knowledge, that know-how between Purusha and Prakriti, he who knows Purusha and Prakriti, Vetti. The Sanskrit word Vetti means knows. Sa evam Vetti Purusham Prakritim cha Gunaihi Saha, together. He who knows the three things, Purusha, Prakriti, and Gunas. In fact, what you must do is, what we must do here, when he says you must know Prakriti, Purusha, and Gunas, what must we do? Thanks, ma. What must we do? See, when he says you should know Purusha, Prakriti, and Gunas, when would you know? Only when you are able to separate them. Purusha and Prakriti has got nothing to do with each other. When would you understand them exactly what they are? When you separate them, don't you? It's like, imagine if I have a basket of marbles, a basket of red, blue, and green marbles. When would you understand what are the contents? When would you be able to quantify them? When would you understand the contents? Only when you separate them, isn't it? They're all mixed together. Now, an individual is composed of Purusha, Prakriti, and Gunas. Purusha, Prakriti, Gunas is like red, blue, and green marbles. They're all in one basket. They're all in one combination. He who understands, he who knows, is like asking, how do you know the contents of this? Give me the quantitative description of the contents of this basket. Oh, for that I'll have to separate them, sir. So you take out each one, red, blue, green. You keep sorting them out. When you separate them, you know this has got nothing to do with this. This has got nothing to do with this. But now they're all in one basket. Similarly, Purusha, Prakriti, and Gunas are all in one combination, which is you, the human being. Me, the living being. So every being is constituted of Purusha, Prakriti, Guna. But one who understands what they are, for such a person there is no birth again. In order to understand what they are, you must be able to separate them. Simple example. If I'm, as I said, give me the contents of this basket, you will segregate them and give me the contents. All jumbled up. Now Purusha and Prakriti and Gunas are all jumbled up, mixed up. You don't know where this stops, where that begins. So he says, he who understands the truth behind Purusha, he who understands the truth behind how these gunas function, for him there is no birth again. It's a very powerful statement he makes. Very, very powerful. No, not easy. Not easy, but it's not difficult either. Now, all what we have learned in the verses from the 20 to 24, we learned about Purusha and Prakriti. Now, even apart, all through what have we understood? That the self, which is the Purusha, has got nothing to do with Prakriti, right? If the fan is blowing faster or slower, has it got anything to do with electricity? It has to go with the equipment, the regulator, right? The bulb which is glowing bright or low, has it got anything to do with electricity? No. Whether you are an Einstein or the way a dull head, has it got anything to do with Atman? Nothing. So our understanding is Purusha has got nothing to do with Prakriti. Same thing, Purusha has got nothing to do with the Gunas. So one who understands that Purusha is the enlivening principle. The problem is we bring God into the equation of our lives. When anything good happens, what do you say? By God's grace. When something bad happens, what do you say? Oh God, I don't know why are you making it happen like this? So we are quick to bring in God into the equation, believing God has a role to play in mending my life. God seems to play a role in my life. God has no role to play in your mending your life. God has no role to play in what you are today. So please do not thank God nor blame God. But so much are we conditioned that we constantly thank God or blame God for what is happening in our lives. What has Purusha got to do with it? It has got nothing to do. So he who understands that acute difference between Purusha, Prakriti and Gunas, for him there is no further birth. It's like saying, and now you'll have to think a little deeper. There are three elements, three factors in the dream. One is the dreamer, all right? The second is the dreamer's world. The third is the waker's mind. Correct? Is it there? Board on irka? Now there are Purusha, Prakriti, Gunas, right? When you understand these three, he says there is all right, there is no birth for such a person. The example we are taking is example Purusha is the waker's mind. Prakriti is the dreamer. And the Gunas is the dream world. You are liberated and you become the waker. No more birth from the cycle of being born and again. This is exactly like this. Yes, Ramji is raising his hand. Yes, sir. Are you able to see what I am writing on the board, sir? We can't hear you, Ramji, unless... Are you speaking? Can you just mute Srinivas Reddy and just see whether is anything wrong with our end? SR, can you just speak, sir, please? No, we can't hear you either. Just a minute, they're just checking at... Before we get that sorted out, there is a clear parallel between the verse is saying and the example that we're giving. When would a person be liberated from the dream? When you understand the difference between the dream world and health, then the waker's mind that is giving life to the dream and the dreamer and the dream world, everybody. So the moment you understand the relation, this and this, you become the waker. Exactly the same way, when you understand the relationship between Purusha and Prakriti and Gunas, for such a person, there is no further rebirth. Such a person is liberated. Ramji, try please. Oh no, I'm afraid we can't hear you. Just check what it is.
Able to hear me?
Oh yes, now we can hear you.
Yeah.
Ramji, could you try?
Maybe Ramji has to swap with.
Sir, why don't you remove your Bluetooth, Ramji? One.
I think the mics has to be exchanged with Ushama.
I think they both are taking turns.
Yesterday also same.
Correct.
Sir, we can't hear you at all.
Now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. So I think okay, my question was that I can understand separating out Purusha and Prakriti, but separating out Prakriti and Gunas, I was not able to visualize. Because Gunas are very much part of our Prakriti, this is what I was thinking. But how do you separate these two?
There is Prakriti is nature. They are one and the same actually. The expression of Prakriti, see, in a broader sense, Prakriti is vasanas.
Yeah.
From vasanas comes the gunas.
Yeah.
Therefore, you can say Prakriti is different to the gunas. Otherwise, he is repeating himself. There is no need to repeat. Right?
So I remember one example you gave long time back, maybe 1 or 2 years back, that your Prakriti or your vasanas may make you a doctor, but whether you are a sattvic doctor or a rajasic doctor or that is a guna part. Is that correct understanding?
Yes.
Okay. So then I can separate out that how am I behaving within that particular area of my work or particular area of my choice. Okay, I understand.
Okay, Ji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But this waker's mind and all that is completely confusing me. So
no, what is the difficulty in that?
no, waker means I mean these are all state of waking up, right? Is that the same when we say waker? Means now we are wakers, we are woken up, we are awake now. Okay. Is our mind now called waker's mind?
No, no.
No. So
See,
when we sleep, we
no.
dream. Is that dreamers?
No. So when you go to sleep tonight,
Yeah.
instantly there is a dreamer.
Correct.
There is a dreamer's world, which includes dreamer's wife, dreamer's children, dreamer's business, dreamer's social life.
Whatever.
World. All right. Now, the dreamer and the dream world, who projected the dream world?
It is our mind.
Whose mind? Whose mind projected the dream world?
The dreamer's mind. Or the waker's mind.
Sir, the dream is only 2 minutes old. In that 2 minutes, you have a solidarity of a dream world of 50 years.
Right.
And yet you have just slept 2 minutes ago, and in the 2 minutes you have projected a 50-year-old long life where you can take me to your dream college, your dream companies where you work, your dream school, you'll show me your dream parentage, you'll show me your dream birth certificate, yet the dream is just 2 minutes old. So who has projected the dream? The dreamer in the dream world has been projected by the waker's mind. So if Ram is the waker, a segment, let's say if Ram has got 100% waker's mind, okay, 1% of the waker's mind has projected the dream. 99% is not involved in the dream. So a thin ray of the waker's mind has projected the dream. Now my question to you is, when do you become the waker? When would you be liberated from the thraldom of the dream world? When would you become the waker? When you understand the connection between the waker's mind, the dreamer, and the dream world. When you understand its totality, that is when you will become the waker. You will understand that is the end of the dream. Means the moment you have the knowledge of the waking world, the waker's mind, there is no more the dream, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, when you understand the knowledge of the Purusha has got nothing to do with the Prakriti and the Gunas, such a person, there is no birth again. One of the most complicated verses seems so simple, but it is complex. Sadly, it is complex. It's one of those most straightforward statements he makes. But in that seemingly innocuous statement, he has punched every possible aspect into it. The only way you'll understand it with the example of waker's mind is the Purusha. Did you write that down, sir?
Yes, sir. Waker's mind is Purusha, dreamer is Prakriti, and dreamer's world is Gunas.
Gunas. So
And
one who
when it-
understands the difference, one who understands this, for him there is no more bondage to the dream. Similarly, he says, there is no more birth for such a person.
So we have to try to reach the waker's mind.
You have to get to the waker's mind, which is the Purusha.
That is the Purusha. Okay.
Otherwise, you're caught up in the dream.
Yeah, correct.
Now, the interesting thing is, all of us are caught up in the gunas. All through our lives, as a thumb rule, all of us are involved with our own gunas. It's only an adjective, good guna or a bad guna. We're all caught up in the gunas. How can I say that? Because Sureshji will never surprise me. Sureshji will be Sureshji. Why? Sureshji because of his Suresh gunas. And you're all the time involved in identifying with Suresh's gunas. So who will you be, sir? Helplessly will you not be expressing Suresh's gunas? Jaya will be Jaya because she is all the time identifying with her gunas. Even for a change, she will not identify with Sudama's gunas. Will you? So you will be what your gunas are. So I might never surprise you because I am all the time involved with my gunas. So the message they are giving us is, if you take the Purusha out of the equation, it is all a play of Prakriti, it is all a play of the gunas. So as we learned in the previous satsang, we said, I must learn to be objective to others' gunas first. I have got nothing to do with your gunas. If you are entertaining a particular guna, you say, what have I got to do? Pushpama is entertaining a particular guna. What should I tell to that? I have got nothing to do. It's your guna. You deal with it. Then I must come to a point where I say, I have got nothing to do with my own gunas. I must be objective to my own gunas. And objectivity is a quality of? What is objectivity?
Witness.
What quality is that, sir?
Witness quality.
What quality is witness?
detached. Or
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is a sattvic quality, right?
what we call it. Yeah.
So when I am, the only way to go beyond the gunas is to try to get to the highest of guna, which is sattva. By being more and more sattvic, I will be detached to the gunas. Ultimately, I will be detached to the very sattva itself. The last stage, the last thing we spoke yesterday in the yesterday's satsang, we said about the
Yeah.
pole vaulter. I dropped the pole the last minute. I have to get rid of the gunas the last minute. So what will I do? I'll have to get to sattva, and ultimately I drop sattva itself. Then I get to trans sattva. So all we must understand is the only way I'll get to Purusha is by being detached to Prakriti and Gunas. Everything is a play of Prakriti. Everything is a play of Gunas. What should I do? I must remain a mere witness to the play of Prakriti and Gunas. Right? That you understand, Sudama. I must be detached. Don't get carried away. The moment I'm detached, that's the only way I'll be able to get to Purusha, because the Purusha is a witness. That's how I'll get to it. The waker's mind has got nothing to do with the dream.
Yeah. But sir, when we say that we have to purify ourselves, and this we discussed yesterday, that the more you purify, you reach that higher levels. That means basically we are purifying the gunas. I mean, when you come to sattvic, but prakriti is something which you live with. In the sense, it is your what we call your your nature, and also some of it is your dharma. Whatever you have to do, whatever duties you have, all that will come under prakriti, right?
Which one?
Whatever we have to do in the world, whether it is for as per your dharma or as per your duties and all that action, when we talk of action, that is all related to our prakriti, right?
No, Prakriti and Gunas.
Gunas both. But when you purify gunas, your prakriti will still be there. You still will do your duties, but with a sattvic guna.
Ultimately, even Prakriti goes off, no? Even Vasanas get wiped off, no?
That is the ultimate. But the route I am talking about is that you have to keep doing that. And when you combine, let's say, the highest guna with your prakriti, that's when you will do that upward journey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Most welcome. Yes, Harish.
As another example between Purusha, Prakriti, and Gunas, can we say the Purusha that you mentioned is equivalent to, let's say, electricity? And then the Prakriti is, let's say, the fan. Would that be correct, Guruji, in this concept of example?
You can say that. If Purusha is electricity, the gadgets are Prakriti.
And the Gunas in this context, let's say electricity and fan, what would the Gunas be, Guruji?
Somehow I'm putting my feet into a shoe which doesn't fit to me. I'll have to somehow squeeze. That's what you're trying to do.
No, I'm just trying to see trying to get a different example between the waker's mind, dream, and dream mode using electricity fan, which is a bit more easier for me to understand in this matter. So I'm just trying to figure out what the guna would be in this particular example. Sorry.
I don't know. What will it be? You get what he's saying, no? Harish, your voice is little off. Maybe if you could put on your headphones, that would help.
Yeah. Let me just do that right now. Guruji, am I audible now?
Perfect. This will be a standard operating procedure for you.
Yes, Guruji.
So can you please repeat yourself, sir?
Yes, my question is, you have used the waker's mind and dreamer and dream world as the example between Purusha, Prakriti, and Gunas. To make it a bit more simplified for me to understand, I'm using Purusha as electricity and Prakriti as a fan as the example. I want to know in this context, what is Gunas between electricity and fan, then what is the word for Gunas for this example? That's my question.
Maybe Setuji has an answer. Yes, Setuji?
Hari Om Guruji. Prakriti means material world, isn't it? World is also called Prakriti.
That's a very broad term. But
Matter. Yeah.
in the philosophical sense, in the context, Prakriti means vasanas.
That is our nature. Or we
Your
can call
nature.
it.
Your nature.
Whenever say nature, I was thinking nature, the world, Prakriti.
No.
But in
Nature
Hindi
means
and but in
vasanas.
this context, you mean?
No, in most contexts, Prakriti means vasanas. Philosophically, it's vasanas. You're referring to a Hindi word, Prakriti, but in the philosophical terms, Prakriti only means vasanas. So, Harish, I don't necessarily see if you say, okay, each light has its own characteristics, each bulb, each equipment has its own characteristics, but it will be difficult to compartmentalize them under gunas. You know?
Guruji, will it be accurate if I said, example, that Gunas is speed of the fan? Would that be logical or no? Speed.
I don't know, you can, if that conveys the message to you, you can please add it.
Okay.
But I am reluctantly saying okay to it.
I understand. Because my logic is saying,
No,
example,
No,
tamas,
please.
rajas, Gunas.
The way you're leading the discussion, people are saying electricity, fan speed, quality of wind. What is the quality of wind? I don't understand. I don't know who is that. Sarojini. Oh, a very ingenious thought that is. What is the quality of wind? Quality of wind also changes, is it, with fan? Speed only. Okay, we are having. Good to have you back, Pritima. Yes, please. Not at all.
I don't know if it's far-fetched, but if we are speaking of gunas with respect to the fan, if it functions smoothly all the time, it is sattva.
Okay.
If it functions erratically, it's rajas. If it is very noisy and cranky, then it is tamas.
You can't beat this answer. Please take a note of it. You can't beat this. This is of the highest order, Upanishadic master answering. So you can't beat it. So please, I hope that will suffice, Harish.
Yes, Guruji. I think it pretty much does the job.
So now I know in our bathroom, our bathroom exhaust fan is a very cranky fellow. So sometimes it makes noise, sometimes it's working smoothly. So we call it rajasic or tamasic. Now she's saying, I give up. You decide whether rajasic or tamasic. She's given up. All right. So it's a very subtle concept as we are trying to draw out here. In essence, what you must understand is one who understands or one who knows the difference between Purusha and Prakriti. If you put Prakriti and Gunas in one bracket, they both are one. He who understands the relationship between Purusha and Prakriti, what is the relationship? They have no relationship. Does Purusha have any interest in what Prakriti is doing? No interest. Does Purusha has got anything to do with the outcome of what Prakriti produces? No interest. He who understands that, for such a person, there will be no birth again. Why? He has disassociated with Prakriti. He has disassociated with vasanas. What causes birth is vasanas. When I have no association with the vasanas, what will happen? There is no further birth again. But if you show interest in the vasanas, if you are bound by the gunas, you will be born again and again. God has got nothing to do with you, sir. This is the highest truth. With it, everything happens. Without it, nothing happens. Yet it has got nothing to do with the happening. Again and again, we are repeating that same definition, same old definition. You got to get to that mindset. Now, the only clarification further this verse needs is though living in whatever way. What do you mean by that? He is talking of a realized soul who lives a life based on his. What determines the life of a realized soul? Jama, do you understand the context question? What determines the life of a realized soul?
He does not act as per any vasanas. He just does his obligatory duties.
No. You're right that he has no vasanas.
Yeah.
But then why is he acting in a particular way? What is the concept that clarifies that each realized master lived a life unique to himself?
Selfless.
He's saying, living in whatever way. One man lived in opulence. Another man slept on the streets. One man sang. Another man walked and did great service. Each one lived in silence. One spoke to only those who sought his advice. One went beyond shores, rocking the world. Each one led a different life. Doesn't matter whatever way you live. For him, there is no birth. So here it is to be understood. The context is a life of a realized person after realization until his death. What is the concept that explains the life of a person after realization until his physical death, samadhi? Prarabdha vasanas. This is the concept. The prarabdha vasanas determine the life of a man of realization from the point of realization till his death. You follow? Okay, let's say, example I'm taking. I realize at the age of 65. All right? From the age of 65 till the age of 90. How many years? 65, 90, how many years, sir? 25 years. I will live a life. 90, I die. At the age of 65, I've realized, Sudama. Till then, I've not realized. Okay? Arbitrary, at 65, realized. So, at 65, I'm declared a realized soul. Okay? Now, yet, I've lived a lifespan of 25 years. What has contributed to that lifespan? Because realization is said to be exhaustion of your vasanas. Only when you exhaust your vasanas, you realize. But yet, the fact that I have lived that lifespan is determined by a bundle of vasanas known as prarabdha vasanas. Now, prarabdha vasanas are the vasanas that you are born with. And it is said that those vasanas will be exhausted only through experience. So, any amount of wisdom that you gather cannot burn that away.
You'll go Himalayan trekking, Guruji.
That I don't know. So whatever be the lifespan is predetermined at birth. In fact, your lifespan is predetermined at birth. Huh? Nobody has any control over death. One may choose to die, yet you'll not die. So many people.
Guruji, I'm confused, Guruji.
Hmm.
You said when your vasanas become zero, you are a realized soul. Right? Yet there are actions after your realization also. Then what drives those actions? Is it not backed by, actions are usually backed by desire or whatever. So what causes your actions after realization?
That's what we said. What causes those actions are prarabdha vasanas. And the trademark or quality of a prarabdha vasana is they can only be exhausted through experience. They cannot be burned through knowledge or wisdom. Sanchita vasanas are burned through knowledge and wisdom. And technically speaking, when your sanchita vasanas are exhausted, that is when you attain realization. So at 65, I have burnt all my sanchita. But prarabdha which I am born with, they have determined that I will live a long lifespan of 90 years. So from 65 to 90, I am living a life of perfection. I am living a life of a realized soul. That's what he says. Now the way, how will I live a life? The vasanas I am born with. For example, you said, I have vasanas to keep trekking the Himalayas. So you may know of me that I am wandering in the Himalayas. I would do an activity which is akin to my prarabdha vasana, which I have no control over. Prarabdha vasanas, you have no control, no say. That will determine the course. One may be singing and dancing, one may be living a life of opulence, another may be living a life of poverty. Whatever be the life, he has no say in the matter. So don't judge a person by what you see them act, especially spiritual people, because they're all defined by their prarabdha vasanas at birth. But what they have done well is to attain realization at 65. So, though living in whatever way, he is not born again. There's no more birth for him. Because why we have to understand this is, realize men have contradicted themselves through their lifestyle. They have never contradicted themselves through their teaching. SR, if you can mention a few realized souls, and can you note the apparent contradiction in their lifestyle?
Guruji, first of all, it's a little difficult to identify a person who's self-realized, because it is a man who is going through that is the only most probably can able to realize it, whether, and that too when you're saying that he's exhausted, all the prarabdha vasanas, also there is no account realistically where in which you can say this end. Like you're giving an example of 65 to 90. 65 is a self-realization has taken place. So we are counting that number, but it's very difficult to identify that he has attained that self-realization.
Now you're seeing me at 50. You will see me at 65. You will not know a difference.
Yes.
Means you don't have the eyes to gauge me. I'm just
Yes.
extending the example.
That's right.
But just to even take examples of great men in history, we are not sitting in debate and saying whether they realize or not. If you take examples of great men, you find their lifestyles have been extremely unique to themselves.
Correctly. Yes.
But
Because we are comparing with the worldly affairs. We are comparing with our lifestyles, vis-a-vis their lifestyles. That's where we come across.
all masters have reached the same goal, yet they lived a different lifestyle. They didn't contradict themselves philosophically, but they contradicted themselves the way they carried themselves. Like
Yes.
Ramana Maharshi didn't speak at all. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa spoke only to those who went and sought his advice. Ramatirtha and Vivekananda went beyond shores.
Yes.
They traveled in cargo ships to lands beyond our motherland, and they went spread this wisdom. Whom should I follow? Should I follow Ramakrishna Paramahamsa or Ramatirtha or Ramana Maharshi? Whom do I follow?
They selected the routes on their own, based on their own gunas.
Now I'm asking you, SR, you're also a self-realized. Whom do you follow?
My name is self-realized.
We gave you SR self-realized, we've given you the title. Now you
It's
have
only
an onus
title.
to realize.
So that is the only goal, Guruji. The title you are given, I need to achieve that goal.
There's a lot of pressure on you to realize in the group, sir. So, whose lifestyle will you follow, sir?
I need to follow my own lifestyle, Guruji.
Correct. You have to follow your own lifestyle. Don't make the mistake of following anybody's lifestyle. You follow everybody's teachings, but not their lifestyle.
That's true.
Okay, sir?
Yes. Thanks, Guruji.
Right. We will chant 25 and 26 together. ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचिदात्मानमात्मना अन्ये सांख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे अन्ये त्वेवमजानन्तः श्रुत्वान्येभ्यः उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः 25 again. ध्यानेनात्मनि पश्यन्ति केचिदात्मानमात्मना अन्ये सांख्येन योगेन कर्मयोगेन चापरे अन्ये त्वेवमजानन्तः श्रुत्वान्येभ्य उपासते तेऽपि चातितरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणाः. Now, why these two verses are chanted together is because of the continuity of thought. Now, in the 25th verse, he says, some by meditation behold the self, in the self, by the self. It's a very unique, beautiful construction of the Gita. Dhyanena atmani pashyanti atmanam atmanam. Behold the self, in the self, by the self. Others by anye sankhyena yogena. Others by Sankhya Yoga, which is a yoga of knowledge. Others by Karma Yoga, yoga of action. Now in the 26th verse he says, yet others, not knowing thus, worship the Supreme, having heard from others. Shrutva anebhya upasate. They just worship what they have heard from others. And they too cross beyond death, taking refuge in what they have heard. Twice he repeats, taking refuge in what they have heard. Shruti parayanaha. Taking refuge in the Supreme that they have heard. Now this verse begins the fifth topic, 25 to 31, talk about a way to realize the self. How do you realize the self? He gives the methodology here. Now, yes, ma'am. What is said in the 25th mantra? Some by meditation. As we understand, meditation is the final gateway. And what is meditation? Meditation, what is the definition of meditation, Sureshji? You know the definition? Verbatim. You are good at verbatim.
Mind without agitation is meditation.
Verbatim, you must quote me.
A mind without agitation is meditation.
Okay, are you agitated now?
Beg your pardon? No.
Are you meditating now? Don't say yes.
Definitely not,
Ah.
because
No, then you
when we
are.
are conversing, I cannot meditate.
Then what is meditation then?
Meditation is a silence when you get into the gap between two thoughts, and ultimately you try to increase that gap and drop thought itself, and you transcend thought.
Absolutely. Vaishnav, can you write the definition for me on board? Okay, I will write. Okay. I will say so, please write it. No, you can sit. I will say it. I will say it. I don't need to write. Meditation is the art of keeping your mind on a single thought. It's an art. Art means it's an acquired skill. Meditation is an art of keeping the mind on a single thought to the exclusion of any other thought. The art of keeping the mind on a single thought to the exclusion of all other thoughts under the supervision of your intellect. This is the actual definition of meditation. You may find many definitions, but this is the most apt, the most rational definition of meditation. So what you're doing in meditation is you're keeping the mind on a single thought. You have that thought, you're keeping the mind on that thought without thinking of any other thought, and all of that is happening with the help of your intellect. So the mantra, so the verse says, some by meditation behold the self. In the self, by the self. The first self is capital. Behold the Atman, behold the self. Where? In my own self, by my own self. So where do you realize God? Within your own self. How? Through meditation. Some of them attain through meditation. Now, who can meditate? Those who are qualified only can meditate. The world thinks otherwise. Let them think. Only a qualified person can meditate. And who is qualified, Gayatrima? What's the quality control for meditation? Can you pass the mic to us, sir, please?
I would always consider that meditation is possible only when you have that purity of mind and single pointed focus. And for attaining that single pointed focus as well as the purity is through karma bhakti jnana. So
No, please. You have the translation with you. Can you pass the sheet to her? I want you to read the translation of 25. He clearly says, read the translation of 25, please.
some by meditation behold the self in the self by the self, others by Sankhya yoga, yoga of knowledge, and others by karma yoga, yoga of action.
So, one category of people, he says, by meditation. If you can't meditate, then he says through knowledge. If you can't through knowledge, then he says karma. In the 26th mantra verse, he says, if you can't do karma, bhakti, surrender. So he is giving us, the Shastras have given 4 means of attaining the state of self. Now my question to you is, who can meditate? You're talking those through karma bhakti. You're switching to other aspects of the mantra, the verse. But question is, who can meditate? Who is qualified to meditate? One who has got very few desires or vasanas. A very highly introverted person only can meditate. If you are not introverted to that extent, a highly introverted person, you can't meditate. Now you test yourself whether you are able to meditate. Are you able to keep your mind aloft on a chosen thought without thinking of anything else? To the moment your mind is wandering and you can't meditate, that means you're not that introverted. What's the next step? Sankhya Yoga. You must take the yoga of knowledge. What is Sankhya Yoga? A sequential, logical thought arriving at an irrefutable conclusion. A logical and a sequential thought arriving at an irrefutable conclusion. So it's a logic and reason. So when you apply logic and reason, when you study the Sanatana Dharma, which is what we are doing here, when you study this Shastras, back it up with contemplation, Shravana and Manana, that is Sankhya Yoga. Now, how many of you are committed to getting up early morning and doing this introverted study? That's Swadhyaya. How many of us are able to spend as much time in the day with this literature, absorbing, breaking your thoughts, breaking your ideas, breaking your head, how to fathom these concepts, how to rationalize, absorb them? That process of introvertedness. I took my little material with me in the mountains. I couldn't carry any books with me because I know I have to break my back to carry with me and up in the mountains. So I took a few sheets of paper and a pen with me. I tell you, my mind was so pure. My intellect was so sharp in that sanctuary, in that spiritual laboratory. My thoughts flew so beautifully, effortlessly. I penned those thoughts. So you are able to do that kind of churning within you. And who can do that? Who can embark on the yoga of knowledge? Not wrong. High level of self-discipline, but to go with the line of thought in the verse that we have said, who can do Swadhyaya? An introverted person. Not that introverted that you can meditate, but you must be introverted enough that you will be stuck to these great Shastric literature where you will engage your intellect trying to understand the nuances of this philosophy. Nothing else will interest you. You will not. The only fear I had in my life, Pushpama, in my earlier days was, what will happen if I don't sustain in this path? The thought of taking up a job I was having convulsions, mental convulsions I used to have. So there's no question of insecurity. I never felt insecure. Only time I felt insecure was, will I sustain myself in this sadhana? If not, I'll have to do something other than this. And that thought was bothering me. A little while, if at all, after I left the ashram, 30 years ago. After that, after I met Gotiji, everything subsided. Everything disappeared. My first student. I met him and then everything disappeared. After I left the ashram, until I met Gotiji, I was in a phase of insecurity. A few months, if at all, the thoughts used to come to bother me because nobody was interested in the knowledge. And we come out from the ashram having studied for 5 years, charged to spread this knowledge, and nobody wants it. In your home, nobody wants it. Your friends, nobody wants it. Society, nobody wants it. What will happen to me? That was only worry. And by accident, I meet. Least expected to meet him, and I met him. And she's still sitting here. He would have been here. 30 years, still there here. You're all a divine connection. So that you have to be an introverted to be able to pursue this knowledge. Okay. You may say, sir, not everybody is as blessed to be as introverted as you are. Then what do you do? Pritima, what do you do? You have the translation with you? You have the sheet with you, ma? What do you do after if you're not able to do Sankhya Yoga?
26.
25. 25.
Some by meditation beholds the self in the self by the self, others by Sankhya Yoga, yoga of knowledge, and others by Karma Yoga, yoga of action.
Right. So if you're not able to pursue the Sankhya Yoga, what would you do? Still hold on.
Yoga of action.
Karma Yoga. Now, can you tell me what is Karma Yoga, please? What is your thought of Karma Yoga? Wouldn't be able to. What is Karma Yoga? If you can't meditate, take Jnanam. If you can't do Jnanam, do Karma. Clear paths to get to the self. What is Karma Yoga? Duty, your dharma. Can you give me a wholesome answer, a complete answer? Pass the mic to her, please. Ma, the mic is there.
My dharma, if I'm a teacher, that's my teaching is my dharma. So be truthful to your dharma.
When does it become a yoga? You're doing karma. As a teacher, you're teaching.
Yeah.
But does it become yogic action? You can't be singing because that's not your dharma. You can't be doing business because that's not your dharma. You can justify that way.
Yeah.
But does that action become yogic? Are all actions yogic in nature?
No, no.
And they don't become. So there is a clause that will change the character of action from a normal mundane action to a yogic action. That's when it becomes karma to karma yoga.
Swadharma doesn't come in.
You're doing Swadharma as a teacher, you're teaching.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it karma yogic.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it's not something unfamiliar. It's just that we're just little lost in the concept, but it's very familiar to you. What is karma yoga? Correct. Karma in the spirit of?
Karma in the spirit of yajna.
What is that?
Nishkama karma.
What is that?
Dedicating all your actions to the Lord Himself.
Lord is one thing. Dedicating all your actions with a spirit of yajna, which is service and sacrifice to a higher ideal in life.
Yes, higher cause.
The higher cause. Whatever is a cause beyond your own limited self, it has to be a cause beyond your limited interest. Conceive a goal and dedicate and oblate all your actions towards the attainment of that goal. Selflessly. Where you are crushing and trouncing your ego and egocentric desires. There is no I in that pursuit. You become a mere instrument of the Lord acting towards that goal. That is Karma Yoga. And if you can't, and who does Karma Yoga? Subhashji, can I ask you this question, sir? If you had followed the questions I asked with reference to who does meditation, I asked the question, who does Sankhya? You will be able to answer this question, who does Karma? Subhashji. Looks like we are lost. Oh yeah, okay, they're back.
Are you listening? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, now you're audible.
Sir, Karma Yoga is basically a selfless work. If it is dedicated to the society and it is aimed at to reach the higher goal, that is a Karma Yogi.
Karma yogi. Now, who does karma yoga? Who performs karma yogic actions?
Anybody can perform if he is directed towards his goal of serving the society selflessly, and always looking for with gratitude to the Lord God, and then he can become a karma yogi.
Now,
Am I?
I ask you the question, sir. Who can meditate? Please answer what we have answered earlier. Who can meditate?
Whose mind is not agitated, who is having a calm mind, and with the minimum
Please strike.
vasanas.
No, please strike that answer. That was not meant
Yeah.
to be noted. I have said so much he didn't write down. Sureshji, what's going on? Sir, we said a highly, what did we say, sir?
Highly introverted person, meditation. Less introverted person, Sankhya Yoga.
Knowledge.
The person who cannot be introverted, for him the root of action. Karma
Who
Yoga.
is that?
Who cannot be introverted. Who is extroverted, naturally.
Gayatri Ma, you tell extrovertedness, I give up. Who can meditate? Who does karma yoga? No. Meditation is done by a highly introverted, right? Sankhya yoga is done by introverted. Karma yoga is done by person who has got more vasanas. Who is a materialistic person? An extroverted person is a materialistic person. You can't say extroverted person is performing karma yoga. An extroverted person runs behind the world. He's running behind his desires. A person who has got more vasanas. Now these two, introverted means less vasanas. Highly introverted means lesser vasanas. Least vasanas. He's got least vasanas. A person least vasanas meditate, less vasanas Sankhya, more vasanas, he is converting karma into yoga by an ideal. He conceives an ideal. But in a materialistic person, there is no ideal. What is running behind? Desires. Selfishness. He's running behind his own selfish desires, unending desires. So when you said extroverted person, I said no, extrovert person is not a karma yogi. He has vasanas, but he is putting aside his desires, he's putting aside his ego and running behind he's serving a higher cause. In the 25th verse, he gives all these four categories. And those of you who don't fit into 25th verse, he says, yet others. In the 26th verse, he says, Yet others not knowing thus, means not knowing what to do, what was mentioned in the 25th verse, worship the Supreme, having heard from others. They just worship. And they too cross beyond death, taking refuge in what they have heard. They blindly follow the authority. They surrender to what has been said and blindly follow. No questions. They don't have the intellect to question. They just surrender. If you say so, we do so. What is that? Bhakti. So if you have no capacity to use your own head, at least follow a wise soul. You have no capacity to think and act, at least do what others tell you to do. Surrender. So the predominantly emotional people, predominantly heart predominant people, they surrender. And surrender stops when you develop ego. So if you have to surrender, means you must have no ego at all. You go into the kitchen, somebody wants your help, you will just help. You will not let your ego interfere in the kitchen. Alright? Put that, do this, stir it, lift it. You do what being told. Don't use your head there. You use your head there, there's a clash. You want help, I'll come and help you, that's all. No ego, I surrender. You tell what do you do, I'll do. Now, I leave you all a question. I know not whether we will have a satsang the following Sunday, but please think over it. What is the imminent danger in surrendering? The question is, what is the imminent danger when you surrender? Rather put that way. What is the imminent danger when you surrender? Such a complete text. So profound. Power packed. Power packed. You want to do justice, everything else must stop. We will do only this. As a teacher, I have patience. Whether as a student you have patience or not, I don't know. I have all the patience in the world to bring the nectar out of this, each of us. You need to have. If you have some kind of a rush, you don't do justice to these shastras. Okay. Now, as you all are aware, the following weekend, the Sunday, the 27th of July, we will be celebrating the Guru Purnima. Given the occasion and the commitment to get things in order, we will not be able to have the satsang on the 27th Sunday morning. So please bear with us for that. However, look forward to seeing you all joining the occasion. The 27th evening, we will have a concert by Shyamalama, 1 hour concert followed by a talk on the topic, the path to maturity. So it's our annual celebration. So do look forward for your company. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.